All right, guys. I hope you had a great day. We're just going to watch a video dealing with solving quadratic inequalities algebraically. This is example 3 in your 5.7 notes that we're looking at right now. So, what I want to do is I want to solve this inequality algebraically. So, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to kind of think of this as being an equation. Like, I want to solve this equation. Now, so if I think about this as an equation, I have this right here. Now, in order to solve it, I have to get one side to be 0. So right now, I have x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. So what I want to do is I want to solve this equation. So if I look at this, this does look like it could be a factorable equation. So let's try to see. Or we could always use the quadratic formula to find out what x equals. So if I factor this, so I have a 1x and another 1x. And that minus 4 to get me a plus 3. If I make this into a plus 4 and a minus 1, I think that should factor out. So 1x and 1x is 1x squared plus 4x minus 1x minus 4. Looks like it gets me that. Now, some of you guys also think about building the bridge splitting the middle. So what's in front of the x squared? There's a 1 there. And there's a negative 4 as my constant term. So I can multiply those two terms and I get a product of negative 4. So everything in the whole wide world that gets me negative 4. Let's think about that. So I know negative 4 and 1. I know negative 2 and 2. And I know negative 1 and 4. So when we build the bridge, split the middle, or find the product sum, I find the product of the first and last term. And then what I'm doing is I am finding the sum, which should be equal to the middle term, which is a 3. So that sum is a negative 3. This sum is a 0. And this sum is a positive 3. So when I look at this, it looks like I can replace the 3x with 4x and minus 1x. So I got 4x squared plus 4x minus 1x minus 4 equals 0. So right here, the greatest common factor is x. The greatest common factor there is negative 1. So I can get x times x plus 4 minus 1 times x plus 4. So I get the same thing. I get x minus 1 times x plus 4. Now, no matter what, I want to solve for x. I want to find out what x equals. So what I'm going to do is set each of these terms equal to 0. So I have x minus 1 equals 0. So I have x equals positive 1. And I set x plus 4 equal to 0. And I get x to be negative 4. Now the thing is, this is actually an inequality. Now, these x values have an impact on this inequality, but these are not the only two solutions to this inequality. These are the only two solutions to this equation, but they aren't the only two solutions to this inequality. So what I want to do is I want to find all the x values that make this inequality true. Now, these two values will help me find out which ones are the case. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I know it started off as x squared plus 3x minus 4 is greater than 0. So when I think about this as on the number line right now, I know I have negative 4 and positive 1. Okay? So what I'm going to do is plug these two, if I plug these two values into this inequality, I know that I will get 0 for both of these. Now, does 0 make these inequalities true? No. because 0 is not greater than 0. Okay? So I know these are not two solutions to this inequality. So what I want to do is I want to find values that make this inequality true. So what I'm going to do is plug values that kind of fit into this, that are between -4 and 1. So like I could choose 0. 0 is between -4 and 1. Choose a value that's larger than 1. So like I could choose 2. And choose a value that's smaller than -4, which is -5. And what I'm going to do is plug these values into this equation. So I have -5 squared plus 3 times -5 minus 4. Is that greater than 0? So 25 minus 15 minus 4 is 6. 6 is greater than 0. So I know that this value, -5, is the solution. So what do I know? Everything going this way is a solution. Like I could plug any value smaller than -4, and you guys can try it. If I choose any value smaller than -4, it will make this inequality true. Okay? Now 0. Does 0 make this inequality true? No, because I get -4. Is -4 greater than 0? No, so that's not a solution. So let's plug 2 into this equation. So if I do 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 4, is that greater than 0? So 4 plus 6 minus 4 is 6. So 6 is greater than 0. That is true. That is the solution. So that means anything on this side of 1 is a solution. So I know anything going this way is a solution. The reason why I put open circles there is because I can go to -4.01, and that will make this equation true. I can go to 1.01111 and plug it into this inequality, and that will make it true. So what I want to do is I want to write down the inequality that makes this true. So if I compare x to -4 over here, it looks like x is smaller than -4. Okay? Or x is going to be greater than 1. Okay? Because all these values are true. All right? So let's take a break. Think about this, and we will talk about the next one in a second.